Hi guys, this is Kaika again. I'm here with a short video to review Hermes. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's the Baby Q silicone mask. I think it was pretty viral like last season, and I only just found out about it now because it was being promoted on Q10, which is like a local eBay online store, and decided to try it. The reason why I decided to buy it is, because a silicone mask will make it easier to wash the sponge. I don't know about you, but I really hate washing my sponges and like makeup brushes. Like, I feel they take up so much effort and they need so much time to dry, especially in humid Singapore. So I think a non-porous silicone sponge like this will make cleaning so much easier. This little packet here cost me $9.90 from Q10. Which I think it's pretty reasonable. I've been using it for a few days and I think I'm ready to give you a short review. So let's get on to the product. Ta-da! It comes in a teardrop shape like this, and it has a smiley face with the logo of Hermes. Should be Heme, right? There's no S. I've used it for a couple of times. I didn't really wash it that well, so I think it's kind of stained. If you see through it, you can see it's like kind of stained. So I really should do a better job washing it. But see, it's very squishy. It's very flexible. See, it's very soft and feels very supple. Like you feel like it's packed to the brim with silicones. And like even if you press it really hard, it doesn't give way, if you get what I mean, because when you are handling jelly products like this, you kind of feel like if I squash it too much, I will like ruin the whole thing, but it doesn't, I guess, unless you like put a ton of weight on top of it. Maybe it might crack, but with your fingers, I think that's good enough. What I particularly like about it is the teardrop shape, which makes it very convenient for you to like go around this corner here, around your nose, so I think this shape, the design of this shape is a lot better than this other brand of silicone sponge, which I can't remember the name, but it's in the shape of like an oblong, which I think is like kind of difficult to apply, right? So you use it pretty much the same way as any other sponge. You apply a bit of product either onto the sponge or onto your skin. I tend to put it on the skin and then I dab it with the sponge. So just to show you, it can blend surprisingly well. It's very smooth. You see, it creates a very nice like even surface. But the problem is, of course, the skin texture on my face is not the same as my hand, obviously, have pores and stuff. So I kind of feel like people with larger pores, like myself, doesn't do much for your pores. So, you have to keep like blending to push the product into the pores, if you get what I mean, to like cover the pores. Otherwise, this thing will just create a very nice, even layer of foundation with your pores like sticking out. It's kind of strange and like redundant, but sometimes I think it's better to go back with your fingers and just tap it into your face. Many YouTubers comment that using a silicone sponge like this uses lesser product than using a brush or like their beauty blender. But for me, because I usually apply my foundation with my fingers, so even though the fingers is kind of porous too, and it definitely absorbs some sort of product, but it definitely absorbs lesser product than brushes and sponges. So for me, the product saving isn't that big of a difference. What I don't like as much about the design is the fact that it actually has like small little, what do you call that, like this ridges at the side. I'm not sure if you can tell from the camera, but it's trapping a little bit of my foundation, and sometimes when I wash my sponge, I feel that this area is the hardest to like get the product off. But other than that, I feel like the simple and effective design of this little sponge here is pretty well done. So you can also use the same sponge for your concealer and your cream blush. I was pretty surprised because I kind of thought it would be pretty useless and I would be only I would only be able to apply foundation with it, which is kind of meh. So I just dab it like this. See, I've got the product on. See, you can just dab it like so. I think it's pretty good actually. So I've got some product on. I'm gonna wipe it off. This is how much like foundation and concealer is trapped in the sponge, but as you can see, it's very easy for me to get rid of it, even though it tends to like get trapped on the sides like I've mentioned. You can also use it for cream blushes the same way. Get some product on, dab 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 dab. Sometimes I even use it on my like pressed powder. It doesn't do a very good job of like trapping the product, but I think it's not as bad as I thought it would be. You can see there is still a little bit of powder on top of it. Definitely doesn't trap as much powder as a sponge would because it's non-porous, but it's still not that bad. I guess you just need like 20 times more of this action to just keep going back to the product. It could be the fact that my pan here is like running out and I don't really have much product myself. I know you might be thinking like, hey, this is supposed to be a sponge that you use with liquid foundation or like BB cream, liquid stuff. You're not supposed to use it with powder. I don't know about you, but I always add another layer of powder on top of my foundation after I'm done. I want my stuff to do everything as much as it possibly can, because if I travel, I just want to bring one item, maybe with some like eyeshadow brush or something like that. I want this to be able to do my skin, my foundation, my blush, my concealer. I want it to be able to do everything so I can travel light. If you've been following my channel, you know that I'm big on traveling. I love traveling, and I love traveling alone, and I love traveling with as little things as I possibly can. One problem that I've noticed with this product is it doesn't seem to work very well with silicone products like primers and whatsoever. So I have this foundation from Maybelline. That's a very long name. So anyway, this is what it looks like. You can see it's like layers of foundation and layers of silicone primer together. So when you press the product out, they both come together. What I experienced with this is, I don't know why, but it just doesn't seem to blend silicone very well. Back and forth, back and forth. It actually doesn't look that bad on my hand. I don't know, maybe it's the fact that skin on my face is just not as beautiful as the skin on my hand. But when I apply this foundation with this silicone sponge on my face, especially around here, I can feel like it's not blending in. It's just not smooth at all. Like there is some, it's just not able to like blend into your skin, if you get what I mean. I know the problem is with my skin and not with the product or with the sponge, but what I'm trying to say is when I use this product with my fingers, I feel like the warmth of my fingers is melting the product, and the texture on my fingers is the same as the texture on my face. It's helping to press the product into the pores, and it's melting the foundation to adhere to my face better. But for this one, it takes so many repetition of like blending to just get it flat and smooth. You are someone with very problematic skin, you have a lot of bumps on your face, then this product will probably not be very good for you. If you have a lot of pimples, a lot of scars that are flat, I think it should be fine. But if any sort of bump, any sort of texture problem, this will definitely not do much for you. And overall, I like to say that I'm pleasantly surprised with the product. It's very inexpensive, just $9.90, and I think you can probably use it for, I don't know, 100,000 times or something like that. And it's easy to maintain. what I do every day in the morning after I'm done using it, I just scrub through it with some water and maybe some detergent with my bare hands, and just like I do a very sloppy job of washing it. But after I'm done washing it, I just pat it dry with the hand towel, and then I put it back into this bag, because this is actually like a Ziploc bag. And that's it. Like, you know, it's very low maintenance, and look at the size of it. It's so easy to travel with. So overall, this is definitely more a pro than a con. I would definitely recommend you to check it out if you have similar concerns as I have. Like, you're too lazy to wash a sponge and you feel like, wow, I wash a sponge and I need to wait until the next day to be able to use it because it takes that long to dry. So I come to the end of my review. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Give me a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe. I think it's here. Or is it here? Anyway. Many YouTubers comment that using a silicone sponge. Why do I keep saying mask? Many YouTubers comment that using a silicone sponge. Oh, not mask. Okay.